Forget the jargon, skip the guru talk. This is paid media for the rest of us. The podcast that gives new and accidental marketers the real talk on what works, what doesn't, and how to stop wasting budget. My name is Borovskaya, and each week we'll break down paid media strategies so you can stop guessing and start growing.
Hello, and welcome to Paid Media for the Rest of Us. I'm your host, Borovskaya, and today we are kicking off a new series really focused on how not to waste your ad budget and your ad dollars. There is nothing worse than that impending phone call from a boss or from a client that says, I haven't gotten any conversions and we just spent thousands of dollars. What's going on? The number one culprit of failed and wasted ad spend is a lack of conversion tracking. I know, I've said it. And if you're going, April, what in the world are you talking about? Google it, okay? But for this episode, we're going to really talk about conversion tracking, what you should have set up, and how that information that is communicated in the correct setup of conversion tracking amplifies your conversion volume through training Google, or even just letting you have the answers to communicate back to that client. Well, actually, we've generated 10 phone calls or 10 form submissions or 10 calendar bookings. So if you are looking for a way, trying to find some of those weird little corners where some of those dollars might be escaping through, this is the episode for you. Or if you know someone or trying to hint at someone to check and see if they're really crossing their T's and dotting their I's with the ways to prevent your campaign from hemorrhaging funds, this episode is dedicated to you. So, the number one way most people waste money on ads, this is Google, this is Meta, YouTube, which is a propriety of Google, just so you know. Wherever it might be, the culprit, the cornerstone of this is not tracking conversions properly. Now, what that means is every time someone submits a form, makes a phone call, schedules on your online calendar, there should be an event. There is the capability to capture that event on your Google Analytics or through Google Tag Manager, so that, yes, that data is stored in a positive way to say, cool, in July, we got so many conversions, but also that data and that information communicates with your Google Ads account, your Meta account, those YouTube ads to say, hey, Google, hey, Meta, go after more of these people. The only way you can run certain bid strategies like maximize conversions is if your conversion tracking is properly set up. And so many clients that I have taken on, we get in there and we take a look. I take a look at the first set of conversions and we go, oh, there it is. We're tracking website visitors. Great. That's awesome. But that does not really get to the bottom line. Let's be honest. What you want when you're investing in any sort of campaign is you want more customers. So there is a way to track those customers, and it is through conversion tracking. Whether it's you going to Google University and figuring out how to implement conversion tracking through GA4 or through a Google Tag Manager, or whether you are going to Upwork and finding a freelancer to help you set up these conversions, please start with making this investment in your campaigns early on. It not only helps you communicate, I will repeat this again, back to whomever or even to yourself, this is how many customers really justified the amount we spent in advertising. But it is also going to train the Google algorithm and the Meta algorithm to attract more traffic similar to those who have converted. Not only do you want to make sure this setting is set up properly and integrated into GA4, conversion windows, right? So there is Another big one, especially whether it's a sales campaign or whether it's a leads campaign, understand the importance of good conversion tracking windows. There are a plethora of different approaches. My favorite approach, because I like to perform by giving Google or whatever ads platform the most amount of data, I do rely on last click attribution. That means the last click, where did that come from? Was it from a Google ad? Was it from search? Was it from Meta? I prefer to use last click attribution as a model across GA4, across GTM metrics, and referring to GTM metrics in Google Ads as well as in Meta. That way I'm looking at the same number through all my data sources. Looking into Google AdWords when setting up those conversions, which now are called goals in the Google Ads platform, I also like to maximize that conversion window. I want to know whether, my ad touched someone 30 days ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 days ago, whatever that was. It's important for my Google Ads to take credit for that, not only as an advertiser, because I want to say, hey, client, heads up, this person was exposed to one of our ads along their journey, but I also want to give Google the most amount of conversion data possible so they can go after more of those similar audiences, like the people who have called and filled out forms or booked online as well. There is a back and forth on the window, as I guess my approach is the wide open window. And there are those who want a smaller window. And perhaps some businesses believe that the smaller window is intentionally shortening the credit you can give to Google Ads. Well, that's cute. Okay, I get it. You really want to say, hey, Google, if you did not generate a conversion from John Doe within 48 hours, you lose credit for them. And it's kind of this tit for tat that Google is this bad, third-party tool that's just sucking money, and you want to look at it like that, then that's an approach to advertising that it will be very hard to challenge and change. But if you're really using Google to give it the information and give it the parameters to drive more conversion traffic, open and maximize, widen those conversion windows as well. And when you are making modifications to attribution models, click windows, there's something that's really important that so many people miss. And it's a big game changer, especially when you're starting to dabble in the space of e-commerce and sales. Understand that Google Analytics sales data is not going to be 100% digit by digit to Shopify or Glew sales data in a certain month period. And there are so many factors that can impact this. And what I really mean by that is, let's say in the month of June, according to your website or your e-commerce portal, sales portal, you saw $10,000 in sales. Well, you look at that same date range for Google Analytics, and your sales data will probably read 9,980. There are so many reasons why these numbers can vary, and conversion tracking, even when set up perfectly, still has margin of error between your website data and your tracking platform, your Google Analytics data as well. Biggest difference is time zone, right? So if I, April, make a purchase on the 31st at 10 o'clock p.m., that order, according to Google, came through on June 31st. However, according to Shopify, when that order changes from pending to processed to completed, that may not happen until the first or even the second or third, whatever the next business day is for that sale to process. And this is a question we get often, why? Why does Shopify say one thing? Why does, Google Ads say another and GA4 say something else? As much as we like to hope, GA4 and Google Ads, especially if your Google Ads is pulling that sales data from GA4, should have a very, very close number. But your Glew data, due to typically your PPC managers, less control over that, shortened control over that, ultimately will not only pull from a slightly different time period, but it also may have a slightly different attribution model. So if you ever have these questions, take them to your PPC manager, but always make use of those Shopify customer support reps or Glew support reps and just say, hey, my Google Analytics is showing me one number, you're showing me a different. What's your attribution model? Is it different than this, which I'm running on Google Analytics? And you might be able to find that discrepancy. Now, the big question, what conversions actually matter? Let's be really honest here. Website traffic, unless you have no other conversion data, which is the whole point of this episode, which is to tell you how important that conversion data is, should not be a conversion. It should not be a primary conversion. If you are unable to get that sales or booking or form submission or phone call data right out of the gate, and you really wanted to run your Google Ads right away, sure, use website as a conversion action. However, it should not be your long-term strategy. And I say that because you, especially in Google Ads, are setting up hopefully great ad copy that's enticing to be clicked on and serving ads to who you think is your right customer. And so if you put these two together, then yeah, you should be getting your ideal client to come through and visit the website. But how many of those people that you think should be your audience are actually converting? And that is the big question. And that is why conversion data matters. Really think through, do I want phone calls? Do I want people to book directly on my site? Do I want form submissions? Do I want sales? And make sure that the first step you take prior to launching your first paid media campaign is proper conversion tracking setup. Thank you for letting me rant this and help you understand the importance of conversion data. It is the backbone of any Google Ads strategy. It is the first letter of the alphabet when there's so much that goes into a paid media strategy. This is the letter A. This must be set up in order for your campaign to run correctly. And especially if you ever want to transition, which you should want to transition to a strategy that's going to bring you more sales or more leads. Thank you so much for your time. Next week, we're going to be talking about your website. What should your landing page have? What should be on there? Where should it be positioned? What is above the fold? What does that mean? How does website feed and mobile visibility impact your ability to convert? And how can we really understand what is needed on a website in order to make it convert and bring you customers? If you got anything out of this episode and it helped you understand one of the most important components of setting up a paid media strategy, please like and share this with a friend that can use it as well. Or if you just want to advocate for yourself, say, hey, buddy, before we move into spending any money, we are setting up conversion data. We are setting up conversion tracking. This is the episode you want to share. Appreciate you all, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Paid Media for the Rest of Us. If today's episode helped clear things up, pass it on to a fellow marketer who needs it. And if you're ready for more real-world guidance, follow and join me next time. Until then, stay curious, stay focused, and keep learning.